Whoops. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I had to make sure that everything is set up correctly. Make sure you guys share this live. We're just waiting on Mr. Tony Terry. I tagged him in the live, so hopefully he should be joining us pretty soon. Welcome back. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to K-Tooks on YouTube. And shout outs to our sponsor, Exclusive Beauty. Definitely go and check it out. Mother's Day is coming up, so why not give the woman of your life something very special to make her feel beautiful? Definitely go and check out and shop Exclusive Beauty. Oh my goodness. I wish it was a way that I could send the link. Let me see. Let me go ahead and send the link so that they will be able to join me on my live fashion dolls. I'm just going to send a link to the post and you guys can go and check that out as well too. Hey, welcome back. Yes, definitely go and subscribe to every review. She's going to be here, guest co-hosting with me and June. So y'all know it's all about the ladies. We had a lot of men on the show, but it's all about the ladies in June. So make sure you guys tune in for that. It's made. We're already booked up and we're going to be booked up for July. So let me go ahead and send this link so that they will be able to join the live, definitely fashion dolls. And we'll go from there. Let me see. Y'all be sure to go and follow every reviews. Definitely go and follow her. Let me go ahead and send this link. I'm going to copy and paste and send the link so that they'll be able to join me on this live. And we're going to get it started. Yes. Hi, Live Love Fashion by DC. Tonight at 8 p.m., High Five will be joining me. And at 4 p.m., we have our very, very, very special guest co-host, Posh Beard. He'll be here with me throughout this week, helping me dish the topics. Today, we're going to be talking about Cardi B. Cardi B did a post and delete over the weekend and a few other topics as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that because y'all definitely do not want to miss my opinion on it because I have a lot to say. So we're just waiting on Mr. Tony Terry. But in the meantime, between time, make sure y'all go and check out that June lineup. We got some beautiful black queens that are going to be guest co-hosting with me. Y'all know I'm a woman as well, and I had to give shine to the other women that are out here doing their damn thing as well too. So shout outs to these amazing women. And every reviews will be here later on throughout the end of the month of June. So y'all definitely go and check that out. We got some amazing black women that are going to be here. So y'all make sure y'all go and follow these ladies and the conversation with these ladies. Ariel O'Hara from Chasing Dallas will be on the panel. We have Pressed by Karma, who is a dope nail tech. Definitely go and check her out. We've got Slay Like Mary. She's going to be on the panel. We also have myself. So it's going to be 4 black women, and we're going to be giving our perspective on things that we face throughout the industry and challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis as black women. And of course, we're going to talk about fashion and beauty, y'all. Y'all know we're going to talk about that. So that is a panel you don't want to miss. And 3 p.m., Abby is going to be joining me to dish the topic. So June is definitely all about the ladies because I'm always giving y'all eye candy and man candy here on Style by Stevie to look at. But it's all about the ladies in June. And we've got a beautiful, talented young lady who is going to be joining me on the 15th. Her name is Janess. Very beautiful. Has the voice of an angel. Make sure you guys go and check out that flyer too. Now, the 14th, I have a very, very, very special guest. I'm not going to reveal who that is, but she's amazing. She's a supermodel, and she will be joining me here on Style by Stevie. I'm not going to announce who she is yet until we get some things cleared up. But just stay tuned. Definitely. All right. So we're just waiting on Mr. Tony Terry to join us. I know they're like, where is the link? Where is the link? Where is it at? I had to send one of my posts from Instagram because I wasn't sure how to send the whole live while I was on. So yeah. But let me see. And speaking of interviews, shout outs to my mentor, Janelle Giance. Tonight, she will be doing an interview. Today is the 19th. So tonight she's going to be doing an interview with Alexis Fields, who is the sister of Kim Fields. Y'all know Living Single. She's going to be doing an interview tonight. The same time I'll be doing High Fives interview. So you're going to be getting all of those and more. Kate Tukes is going to be doing an interview at 5 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Around that time, I hopefully should be wrapped up because I got to do another outfit change. And this outfit is going to be super duper. Well, let's just say thank God for Terry Mugler. Thank God for Terry Mugler, because he knows how to make a woman's curves look sexy. And lately I've been doing a lot of that, just embracing my curves and my womanhood. Like, thank y'all so much for being so supportive, because it has definitely been challenging throughout the week. But thank y'all. So we're waiting on Mr. Tony Terry to get in here, because we're going to definitely get into it. I'm super excited to be doing this interview with him. Like, he's such a music icon and pivotal in the world of music, R&B music at that. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the comments, or feel free to type it in the question box right there. But thank God for Terry Mugler. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, because I got to do a second outfit change. So of course I'm going to wrap up with that show and then come back on, of course, before 8 to make sure that everything is running tip-top, smooth, and shape. And ladies and gentlemen, joining me right now, while I was talking about fashion, again, stay tuned, Terry Mugler. Thank God for him. Let's get into this interview. Joining me right now, a very special guest of the evening, music icon, Mr. Tony Terry.
Me? Okay, let me turn.
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh, let me try this. Okay, can you hear me now?
It's not you. It's not you. All right. What's good? How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. It's
You hear this
such an
delay
honor.
happening?
What was you saying? I couldn't hear you, Mr. Terry.
Right, I can't. I'm not kidding. I can fix this real quick. We should have done a rehearsal. We should have done a run through.
Yes.
Let's see what we got here. I'm going with that. Okay. Anyway, let's see. We can do it this way.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if it's an echo, if there's anything.
What's going on? I hear an echo.
Okay, let me put my buds in and see if that'll work. I just took them out because you couldn't hear me. Let me see. All right, can you hear me now, Mr. Terry?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not hearing you like I should because I have a, let me try to plug this back up one more time. I've got a system here running through this, and how about that? Can you hear me now?
Perfect. I can hear you clearly.
But
I
should be hearing you in a different way than I'm hearing you now, because I have you running through my system, and it's not working. So anyway, we'll just go live like this. I hope you don't want me to tell you.
We'll make it work.
It's working. We're working. Yes. What's good?
It is such an honor to be in your presence. You are such a music icon.
Oh man, thank you.
Yes, and your music has been played, especially the song, the iconic song with you. This song has been played at so many weddings
and funerals, believe it or not.
Yes.
I get asked to sing. Funerals.
Whoa.
Well, because it's really interesting that music becomes part of people's lives, becomes a part of the fabric of people's lives, so much so that this particular time that I was asked to sing at this homegoing service, it was a song that the mother would sing to her son. They would sing to each other. It was their favorite song. So he passed, and they wanted to have that moment. And I thought it was a little bit weird, but the check cleared. Once the check cleared, it was good. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. With You is such a classic song, and my question to you is, did you have any idea while recording this song that it would be such a timeless classic?
I knew the moment that I heard the song that it was something special. I knew that it was special. That should be better. You should be able to hear me. I knew that it was something special, and the first listen, can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes, I
good?
can hear you.
Okay, okay, good. The first
Yes.
listen, the very first time I heard With You, I knew I didn't even hear it all the way through the first time. Probably got to the first, it's for real what I feel when I'm with you. And I stopped and I said, where we cutting this, man? A friend of mine, Raymond Reeder, who is a gifted singer, songwriter, producer in his own right, who's gone on to win Grammys for Yolanda Adams and a couple of other people, actually wrote the song for me. But the story behind the song, most people think that I wrote it for my daughter. I don't know how that story got out there, but it was actually written about a young lady in high school that he had a crush on. What he didn't know was that I had a crush on the same girl. So when I asked him about, where the song came from, he was like, do you know such and such? I was like, yeah, I know such and such. What does she have to do with this? And he's like, I wrote it about her. I was, how you gonna be writing a song about my girl, man? I didn't know he had a crush on her. He didn't know I had a crush on her. She knows that the song was written about her. And it's just really interesting how things develop, the real story behind how things happen.
Yes, because With You reached top 20 on the US Billboard Hot 100 charts,
Mm-hmm.
as well as #1 on the Hot 100 R&B charts.
Mm-hmm.
How was this experience for you, just knowing that your song just went platinum? And I remember doing an interview with Don Robinson from Invo, because you guys all would have been out during the same era of
Yeah,
music.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
such a great era of music. And one of the girls saying, I remember turning on the radio in my college dorm and hearing ourselves on the radio. So what was that experience like for you, hearing your song on the radio?
Okay, well, the first time I heard my song on the radio, it was She's Fly, and my first single. And also that very same day, I had taken my very first flight on an airplane. And I flew from New York to DC to see my family. My father picked me up, and we were driving home, chopping it up, talking, and my song came on the radio. She's fly and fresh. And I'm gonna tell you something. I lost my whole mind. I was like, Dad, I need you to pull over for a second. I had to get out. I had to get out of the car and just like let it happen and breathe, put it together. It was bigger than mind blowing. I wasn't expecting to hear it, and it just took me out. It took me out. And my father was so proud of me in that moment that it was a moment that he and I shared, and irreplaceable. It was amazing. It was amazing. It felt great.
And I remember watching one of your interviews, and you said that Anita Baker had to help you pay for the music video. What was
Well,
that experience like?
I wouldn't say she had to, but she did. She called me one day. She called my office. She called my manager's office, and our receptionist. My phone is crooked as all get out, but it's okay. uh, she called the office one day, and I was walking in, and our receptionist was not at her desk, and I answered the phone, and it was Anita Baker, and I didn't believe it. I really didn't. I didn't know Anita Baker. She would have had no reason to call me. We weren't on the same label, and it was Anita Baker. And she told me that I had been on the Arsenio Hall show and another show that came on afterwards called The Party Machine. And they came on like, one night and then the next night. And she saw it and she called me up and she was like, it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life. I wanted to be able to take the credit for it, but I couldn't. I told her who wrote it and all that kind of stuff. She asked me about the video. And I told her that my record company didn't think that the song was a hit. So I was signed to Epic Records. They had Michael Jackson at the time. Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, Tina Marie, and me. So I was this new kid on the block who they couldn't figure out, what to do with. They weren't quite sure of kind of music that I was making. If they knew that I could sing. And I ended up over at Epic Records kind of by chance because I was signed to Capitol Records. First of all, I was in the studio working on a project, and my manager asked me to walk into this room. There was about 6 people in there. And she asked me if I would sing for them, and I did. I was already warmed up. I was in the studio recording vocals. And I sang for these people. I didn't know who they were. I wasn't nervous. Had no time to prepare. Had no time to get nervous because I wanted to go see what she wanted and then get back to work. So I sang for these people, and it turns out that they were the vice president of Black Music at Capitol Records. They signed me right away. Right away, 7 albums. I left that room. I had a 7-album deal. I didn't even see it coming, so it wasn't something that I was going for in that moment. But of course, I was excited once it happened. And the gentleman who signed me, who was responsible for me being signed to Capitol Records, got fired soon after I was signed. If you know anything about the music business or the entertainment business, you know that it's an ego-driven business. It's all about ego. So when he got fired, and the guy, he was the head of the A&R department, and his replacement came in. Well, the new guy didn't sign me. So I wasn't really a priority to him. He wanted to make his impression with people that he brought to the label. So I was floating around Capitol, really belonging to nobody, if you will. They wanted me to record Nat King Cole's catalog. But I was 19. I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see me singing Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, man, I blamed you. I couldn't see it. And I still don't see it all these years later. But I should have, because Nat King Cole built Capitol Records on his record, with his music. And I just didn't see it. So the gentleman who signed me got hired at Epic, and he talked them into buying my contract before I ever sang a note. So there was millions that kind of happened, millions of dollars that were spent before I sang a note. So now I'm at Epic Records with Michael Jackson and Luther and Tina, as I said. And they didn't really know what to do with me. My first record, She's Fly, came out and took them by surprise. It was my second album. The first single was Head Over Heels. It was time to choose the second single. I chose With You. The record company called me in for a meeting and said, we can't support you on this. We think this song is corny, and only Stevie Wonder could get away with doing a song like this. I really wasn't trying to hear it. And so I just didn't back down. And so I guess they were trying to teach me a lesson, because back in the day, they had what was called LPMs, local promotion managers in every market. And that person's job is every Tuesday to take their new stack of records that they're trying to get added on radio to the radio station and convince the program director to add the record. Well, at the time, there was like 25, 30 major labels. So all of those major labels have new music every week, and there's only like 5 slots. So all these people are coming in with a stack of records that they want this program director to add at a particular radio station. So for me, they were trying to teach me a lesson, so they sent my record out blank, with no information on it. It was a white label. And to me, in retrospect, that would have made that single stand out, because everything else was marked up. So I see this one record that don't have nothing on it that's coming from Epic Records. What is this? How come it's blank? I'm curious. At least in my mind, I would be. And so I think that's what happened, because With You started to get played, it started to grow, and it had nothing to do with the record company, because they didn't believe in it. And it just started to grow and grow and wouldn't go away. And then the phone call from Anita Baker came, and she said, when I told her that the record company didn't think the song was a hit, she said those people wouldn't know a hit if it hit them in the forehead. So I'm gonna send you $50,000. I was like, what? Okay. You know, she said, I want you to shoot a video. I'm gonna call my friend Blair Underwood. I want him to direct. I'm gonna give you access to my publicist, Jay Schwartz, for 6 months. I was like, why? Really? Why? I mean, why? I ain't doing nothing. Why are you doing this? I don't know you. Why are you doing this? And this is an interesting story. So she gave me the money. A couple of days later, the money came, certified check, went out to LA, shot the video. It was Blair Underwood's directorial debut. So if you've ever seen the video, it's because Anita Baker, I call her my guardian angel. She gave me the money to do it. Now let's move forward like 20 years, 25 years. Monique, the Monique show that was on the WB. I had been on as a guest, and I heard that Miss Baker was coming. My mother-in-law is a huge fan. Of course, so am I. So we went to go back and see her perform. So they gave us front row seats. She didn't know I was going to be there. And she was doing her thing. Sweet love, don't you ever go away. Sound like she got marbles in her mouth. And she opened her eyes at the end of her song. And she saw me like she realized that was me that she was looking at. And her eyes got big. They went on the commercial, and then she called Monique over, and they had a conversation. I could see they were talking about me. They were pointing at me, kind of laughing. And when she came back from commercial break, Monique asked her about it, because during that time, Miss Baker shared the story about sending me that money. And she shared the story with Monique, and Monique asked her, why did she do that? Because she didn't know me. And she said that she was compelled by the Spirit. She was being obedient. She had to do it. And I just kind of thought that was just amazing to me, but because who does that for $50,000? And after that, my record company, I would do interviews, and they'd be like, oh yeah, we knew this was a hit record from the very beginning. And you know, we're proud of our new artist, and da da da. That's when I learned, you know, that this really navigating through the music industry really was a game, and I had to learn how to play it, and I had to learn how to play it quickly, because they didn't want the song. They did not want it. And when it became a hit, they took all of the credit. Had nothing to do with it. Miss Baker had nothing to do with it. It was all thought, wow. I had to play along with it because, you know, you want your record company to be on your team, because you need their support. And if they're not there, then it's not going to happen. So that's the story behind With You.
And this song, With You, also earned you 2 Soul Train Music Award nominations, as well as an American Music Awards nomination. How did it feel getting these nominations rolling in for your song? Your song is at the top of the charts, and it's exploding and taking off. How did this feel for you?
It was With You. With You stayed on the charts for 26 weeks, which is a very, very long time. I lost to Michael Jackson. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. It felt great to be nominated, and it felt great to be nominated in the company that I was nominated in. It was myself, Luther Vandross, and Michael Jackson. Come on, man. Even if I didn't win, I'm good. I'm good with that. I was new in the business, and just to be recognized it was great. I learned a lot of things. I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money, you know, lost a few friends along the way, but the journey has been really, really interesting.
Yes, and when I told other music artists that I was doing an interview with you, It's a young man by the name of Real Son of Soul. Make sure you guys go and check him out.
Will Summersault?
And Urban Mystique. His name
Urban
is
Mystique,
Real
yeah.
Son. Yes, I did an interview with Urban Mystique as well as Son of Soul. They did a song together, and when I announced that you were coming on my platform, the responses from these male R&B artists, other male R&B artists, is they look at you as like the king, like the king
Wow.
of R&B music. Like you
Wow.
are a pioneer, you're an icon, you've been in the game for a long time, and
I have.
everyone knows your music. Even while I was in the process of putting on my last lash, I was playing some of your music from Everlasting Love to With You. These songs are what women need. This is what we need in times like this. And my next question for you is, do you think that soulful music still has a place in this era? Because
Yeah.
we've seen the dynamic of music definitely shift. And we
Yeah.
talk a little bit about music and sexuality and things like that. Like most male R&B artists, like you were ahead before the Genuines and the Trey Songs and the Tanks and all the other R&B male artists that have come out. You know, music nowadays is so direct. Whereas
It
back
is.
then,
Leaves
is
nothing to the imagination.
yeah.
Yeah. It's first of all, I think that it's really only here in the United States that it has shifted like that. Because, when I traveled abroad, the, the amount of love and respect that we get is almost overwhelming. There are artists that sing R&B music we've never heard of, that sing, internationally. And they, sell 100 million records. We never hear of them because they don't get played on American radio. But the world is so much bigger than America. And I think that the tide is going to shift again because people want that. And what we don't realize is that radio is controlled by corporate America. Back in the day, you could call into your favorite radio station and say, play such and such and such and such. And if enough people call in, they're going to play it. Well, now radio is programmed by, I'm going to go ahead and say it, by some middle-aged white man in Idaho in a conference room who doesn't even listen to R&B music. He just doesn't know. So the fact that, let's say back in the day, we used to hear socially conscious rappers. You don't hear that anymore. They didn't want us too educated. So now mumble rap is the rap of the day. You know what I mean? Making us look like sexual fanatics or sexual deviants. I mean, it's like the most raunchy, the most ratchet you can be, you'll get the most attention if you're that. But if you are singing romance and you're making people think, and then they kind of put you on the back burner because it's not exciting enough. But I know for a fact that people appreciate romance, especially now of the years and years of having sexuality just on records, just put in your face. They leave nothing to the imagination. Brothers used to use songs like, With You and Everlasting Love, other artists, Glenn Jones, Peabo Bryson, and play those songs to their girl. Say, this is how I feel. This is, you know what I mean? And they would make these love tapes, send them to their girl or whatever. But that doesn't happen anymore because the songs are not romantic. The songs say, I want to F you. I want to F you down right now. And they'll say the word. And if it's not nasty, then it seems like people aren't interested in it. Well, I'm almost 60 now. I want something a little bit more. I want something I want to dig a little deeper. I want to sing songs that, I know I don't look 60, but you know.
You don't, I was just about to say.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel great, actually. I sing songs that I enjoy. I like to sing songs that my grandmother would not have minded sitting and listening to. You know what I mean? can't just be overt. You have to make people think. You want to romance your babies or your guy or whoever it is you're trying to romance. So I don't think it's going to fade away. In fact, I think it's going to have its day again, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. The audience is saying 60, and a lot of the female audience members are saying yes. As a woman, for me, your wife, shout outs to her, the beautiful Ronnie Terry. Miss Ronnie, thank you so much for setting up this interview. I know she must agree with it as well, too. Like, women, we want to be catered to. Nowadays, it's just like guys are so direct with what they want in music about romance. Now it's straightforward. It's straight to the point. It's not like back in the day, because it was you, Brian McKnight, Peter
Right.
Bryson, all of you who knew how to, even Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, as well as Michael, you had a way of catering to women through your music, and that's what we need. Nowadays, it's just like chivalry is dead, just like when it comes to, for example, holding the door open for a woman. You know, men hold the door open for me, but it's just like now, it's just like, men nowadays, they just go out there and they just let the door slam in a woman's face. Like, that's not what we're into.
I don't do that, but yeah, it does happen.
And speaking of your next career move, because you've also done some acting as well too. You did a film with Lil Zane, Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Malcolm and B. I played Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. All my life, I have heard, you know, from time to time that I look like Malcolm X. When I was younger, my hair was lighter. When I was a kid, it was almost blonde. So it's gotten darker as I've gotten older. But, you know, so with the reddish hair and I guess the facial features, I must have looked like him. And when I got dressed up as him with the haircut, the iconic ring that he wore, skinny necktie, the glasses, I look like him. I look like him, and I was blown away. It's difficult to play, you know, an icon like that, because acting is not about acting. It's about becoming. So I had to become Malcolm X, and not act like him. I had to become him, and so that means I had to do research. I had to listen to how he spoke. I had to just I would put on, go to YouTube and put on videos and just go to sleep. Malcolm X, listen to how he spoke, let that happen while I was sleeping, you know, just kind of get his cadence and let him come into me, if that makes any sense. So I had to let Malcolm in. So it was really interesting to, you know, to do that so that I could play the part believably. I loved it. And now I'm actually programming a television channel here in Atlanta on a new station called CLS TV, and my channel is called The Lounge, and we're doing you know, music-driven kind of projects. I'm going to feature my very first thing that we're going to feature is going to be the Martin Malcolm and Me movie, which has already been on television, but it's not been on my channel. So I'm gonna feature it on my own channel, which I'm really excited about. I have a single out right now called Born to Love You, and I'm about to drop another single called Come Back. And, you know, I'm just doing what I do. You know, the pandemic literally shut down everything for us creatives. I mean, I went from working every week to not having any work at all. Like, seriously, my calendar was wiped out. So I had to figure out, one, how to stay connected to my audience, two, how to get that bag during the pandemic. So I started doing lives. I had never done a live before. I started doing lives from my living room. And at first, the title of the live was called Sitting at the House Chilling, just like the rest of y'all, which is a long title. And I started doing it on Tuesday, so I was consistent. I did it every Tuesday, and after about a month, I started calling it Tony Terry Tuesday, and it kind of caught on. I was doing it because I needed something to do. You know, I'm a singer, I'm a performer, and I'm on the road every weekend, so I needed something to do. And then people started responding to it, like, you know, they lost a family member to COVID, or, you know, had lost their job, you know, really struggling, depression, or that, you know, real things. And saying, you know, this hour that you do, I look forward to it. You know, it makes the difference in my week. And then I realized that it was so much bigger than me. It was about being of service, and you know, I don't charge for it because I love it. But because I was doing that, other things started happening, you know, that I was getting paid for. So I just started staying consistent with, you know, being willing to give, being willing to share the gift. And, you know, I get called for virtual things. I get called for, you know, socially distanced gigs. But throughout the pandemic, I worked the whole time. I worked the whole time. So I think that was very much a blessing. And I think that it was a valuable lesson that I taught my son about being willing to give and watching the blessings that come because of that reason.
Absolutely, 100%. And you've also had a number of other roles as well too. You did Deborah E. Talbert's, his woman, his wife. You did Car Wash, the Norman Whitfield story.
Yeah, I played Norman Whitfield. Yeah. I played Norman Whitfield, and people don't know about Norman Whitfield. He wrote so many hit records. He wrote, I'm going down, you ain't around. He wrote so many hit records. Madonna, Diana Ross, The Temptations, Mary J. Blige. I mean, he just wrote Rolls Royce, all the songs that you heard from Rolls Royce. Car Wash, wrote all those songs. He was so wealthy, he wouldn't even go pick up his Grammy. He wouldn't even go pick up his Oscar. He would send somebody else. He wanted to check. He didn't care nothing about the award. But what people didn't know about him was that every time he got a royalty check, he went straight to Las Vegas. And he put $20,000 chips on the casino tables. He wouldn't play. He just put the chips on the table and go up to his room. Everybody thought he had a gambling habit. Then one day his assistant was like, boss, why are you doing that? Why do you come here? People think you gotta, you know. He was like, I don't care what people think. Paying the boys back. That's how we had to pay, so that he could continue to do what he was doing, and that was be successful in the music business. There's so much that people don't know about what really goes on in the music business. That, you know, when you find out, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So he had to pay that money back to the mob because they were allowing him to be successful in the music business. Really, really interesting stuff.
Yes, and we're so thankful for programs like Behind the Music and TV One's Unsung, who can give people an inside look more so on what happens behind the scenes in the music industry. And you've also had here's another fact about Mr. Tony Terry. You've also done vocals on Yolanda Adams' album, More Than a Melody. You did one of her songs on the album, Gotta Have Love, which is one of my favorites. And I think it was Whitney Houston in the video. You made a tribute cameo in the video as well, too. What was that experience like?
That song was actually a song that I was working on for myself. And Yo heard it and wanted to write some lyrics. And it was not called Gotta Have Love. My song was called Shellac the Bozak. And so she wanted it, and I sang it. I sang the hook, Gotta Have Love. It was her first single, and I was honored to be a part of it. And it was, when I first saw Yolanda sing, my mouth was open. Like, I couldn't believe that like in real life could sing like that. Like, just flat foot, sing the paint off the walls. She was getting it. So I was honored to work on that record with her.
And you also released a gospel album as well, too. What made you decide to release your gospel album, Changed?
Because I grew up in church. I grew up in the church, so it wasn't like, you know, I was doing something that I wasn't accustomed to doing. You know, I sing gospel music. I sing jazz. I was trained classically. So I think that the industry decided that I was a balladeer after With You came out. But before With You, it was dance music. She's Fly, Lovey Dovey, Young Love. You know, I was putting out dance records. But afterwards, you know, like even today when I go out and perform, some people are like, oh yeah, I forgot you did that song. You know, it's just, you know, I sing jazz, as I said, R&B, gospel, classical. I sing what I like.
And you do it with such, how can I say it? It is very distinguished. It's in a way like we've never heard gospel music before. And you've given us some other hits for those lovers out there, because you know Mother's Day is coming up, and I know a lot of men want to spend time with their wives and their girlfriends. You gave us a hit in 2001 from one of your albums called "In the Shower," and when I
Yeah,
heard it, I
yeah,
was just like, "What? Wait, what?
yeah.
This? I've
That's
never
right.
heard Tony Terry like this
Yeah,
before."
yeah.
And it's completely different than With You. What made you want to go into this direction where it was just like, okay, I got to take this? Because you know, every artist has their transition period. What was the transition
Uh,
period like for you?
well, meet me in the shower. Don't be late. I mean, come on, you know. I'm a man, y'all time out. There's multifacets to my personality, you know, and you know, different scenarios call for different things, you know. Sometimes you want to get freaky. Sometimes you want to do a little bit of this. You want to do a little bit of that. And then you got to branch it off in the shower, you know. Yeah,
And you've also worked with Chris at Michelle and one of the
yeah.
stage plays as well too. Like I would have never thought of this collaboration would have happened. What was it like working with Chris at Michelle?
Well, this was before she took the gig for the Republicans. uh, it was interesting because she's such a beast. You know,
Yes.
she was great to work with. I also just recently did a piece with Shantae Moore, and she's
Mm.
great as well. She was great as well. Shantae's show was really, really brilliant. Chrisette really impressed me though. Her acting skills, um, her ability. Well, so did Shantae. I mean, everybody knows the Shantae can sing, and everybody knows that Chrisette can sing. But I didn't know that she had it. I didn't know she had that thing. And while I worked with her, she proved that she had that thing.
And another thing people don't know about you is your nonprofit organization. And it says that you are a passionate public speaker and you lend your voice to so many corporate and nonprofit causes. And you
Mm-hmm.
were tapped by the National Fibromyalgia Association to serve as their national spokesperson in 2013.
Yeah.
And shout outs again to Miss Ronnie Terry. Like, tell people what this is for those who don't know. That I know this is
Okay.
deadly and this.
Well,
Yep.
my wife has fibromyalgia, and
Yes.
it's something that a lot of people deal with, and that is you know, pain in their body, um, real pain. It's actually hypersensitivity of the nerves, and for her it popped up soon after giving birth to our son. But it's a, you know, a lot of people in our community don't really go to the doctor. You know, they'll be in pain, and you know they'll call it something, they'll give it a name, and you know this condition, which is now looked at as a disease, but in the beginning there was no name for fibromyalgia, and it was also something that people thought that middle-aged white women dealt with, and obviously that's not true. Men suffer from fibromyalgia, women, children, old, young, fat, skinny, of all ethnicities. And, you know, when you go to the doctor because you're having a flare up and they run all these tests, everything comes back negative, like you're fine. So in the, you know, years ago, people would think that it was a psychological thing, and it's not really there. Or, you know, the person who's claiming to have this pain just wants to get some pain meds. that wasn't the case for my wife. I mean, you know, her fibromyalgia became debilitating. We had to do something, and her doctor decided that she was going to have to be on morphine for the rest of her life, and that just was not acceptable. It just wasn't. We had a baby, and you know, morphine and you know those class A narcotics, they take you out. You can't function. Can't function during the day if you're on morphine all day. And so she made the choice to get off of the narcotics and to just deal with it. And that was, you know, that's been a journey. But my gig really was about being a caretaker. And caretakers are often overlooked. They take the abuse from the person they're caring for, you know, and it's usually, you know, just a thankless job. And, you know, I'm very, very candid. Like, I didn't mind telling my wife when she was sick and getting on my nerves, hey, you're getting on my nerves. I need about 25 minutes from you right now. And because I dealt with it so real and straightforward, you know, I would go into these conferences and there'd be a room full of couples who, you know, either the wife or the husband was dealing with, you know, was the caretaker and dealing with caring for their spouse or, you know, a relative. And I would say things like, you know, it's okay to tell your person that you're taking care of that they're getting on your effing nerves. It's okay. And you can do that without any guilt. Because if they are getting on your nerves, tell them. Because it's a thankless job being a caretaker. But we take care of people that we love. We take care of people that we love, you know. So that was my gig, you know, being the spokesman for the National Fibromyalgia Association was really about just sharing with people who take care of those people and anybody else who's sick that, you know, it's okay to be frustrated. You know, mental health issues are another thing that we don't talk about in our community, especially the men. You know, so this year during the pandemic, I started suffering from anxiety, and which was something that I had never dealt with before in my life, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what was happening, and I was embarrassed because I didn't know when it was going to happen. So panic and anxiety started to set in, and I had to start taking meds, and I hated it. I hated the fact that I had to do that, but I was also embarrassed. And then I thought, you know what? I know that there has to be more people who are going through things like this other than myself. So I'm going to use my platform and talk about, hey, I don't feel good today. I had a panic attack today. And then people started responding even to that. Like one day, when I made the first announcement that I was dealing with stress and anxiety, I got a phone call after my live from a gentleman. He called me on Facebook, and he called me on video phone, but it was dark. The screen was dark. He was in a dark room with the lights out, panicking, losing his mind. And he called me and said, he appreciated me saying that because it gave him the courage to reach out to me and told me that he was panicking right now. Like right now, I'm in an active, full out panic attack. And he didn't know what to do. Talked him off the ledge. I told him, well, the first thing you need to do is just know that everything is going to be all right. First thing you have, and then the second thing you have to do is get up out of the bed, open your windows, let the light in. This is really interesting that people don't understand like the realness of things like that. When we start to suffer and we don't know, our pride won't let us reach out and say, I need help. I'm going, especially the men, because we've been programmed to think that the only emotion that we can express safely is anger, but that we can't be vulnerable, that we can't say that I'm going through something because people will take that as a weakness. But the reality is we all go through something. And sometimes we need help getting through it. And so when I started speaking about it, and then I realized that people were responding to me, oftentimes going through the same thing, it validated my point about, not holding on to it. And the fact that we as a community need to talk more about things we don't talk about, like mental health.
I like that Black men are being vocal in this space, right? And another fact about fibromyalgia is that it affects more than 4 million U.S. adults and about 2% of them the adult population, as well as mental health. Mental health is something that I've been covering, and I kind of gave that look, Mr. Terry, because I've been talking about it throughout the week as well too. I was reading an article in Essence magazine about it has to perfectly, because it had, I think Lawrence Fishburne was on the cover, and this is like what, 1995, because I do a lot of reading, and it asked a very valid question that is still relevant today, which is, do Black men need therapy? I said absolutely.
Yes.
The trauma, 500 years of oppression, all of these things and more, all of these things, and not just that, but with this pandemic going on and so many deaths, so many losses, so many things going on, all of this pent up emotion and not being able to release it because I don't want to look weak. That's called what I like to call toxic masculinity. And then what we see in the end result is them being physical and abusive towards women.
And being towards women, or a hole punched in the wall, or something ridiculous that if you had the courage to talk about and to just get off your chest, that wouldn't happen. But then on the other side, our women, our mates have to what is the word? Like, sometimes even our women don't want our men to be vulnerable. Why you crying, you punk? Bitch ass. Exactly. So we have to create a space where home or wherever it is actually safe to be vulnerable. So one of the things I started doing, one of the many things that I do, is I started taping a show called Conversations Among Kings. And that is 5 of my friends, different ages, different income levels, different viewpoints. And we talk about real stuff. And it's as candid as, if you're smoking a blunt, smoke it. If you're having a drink, have it. You come in late, We're going to talk about you. Come on in late. So, but it's here at my townhouse where we shoot it. And we let the cameras watch it. So we're not doing a show for the cameras. We're doing a service for each other. And we just let the camera watch. You know what I mean? We laugh, we edify each other, we pour into each other, we cry, we pray. We give each other information that maybe 1 or 2 of the guys just did not know. I mean, it's about talking. It's about doing what we don't do. It's about going deeper than cars, women, sports. It's about matters of the heart. It's about real life. It's about finances. It's about how do we deal with it? How do we get things in order? It's about the questions that we can't ask. Because, you don't want people to think you're going through something. You want people to think you're good, even when you're not. That's not always good.
And I can go down a long list of actors and actresses who've spoken up about bipolar disorder, depression, and so many things. Jennifer Lewis, who played the mom of Tina Turner, Angela Bassett's mom. Yes, Jennifer Lewis. Tina Turner just recently did her documentary. She spoke out about the trauma and suffering that she's faced throughout her career, not just that, a turbulent relationship. We have Taraji P. Henson, who spoke out about it. We have, it goes down a long list of people who have spoken out and said, I don't feel right. And it's okay to say, I'm not okay. It's
okay to say, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
It really is.
and in the black community, we've been programmed to say, okay, we're just gonna pray and we're just gonna. But listen, I say
Right.
this all the time: faith without work is dead. You
It's
have to be
dead.
willing to
You got to put in the
talk to
work.
someone.
You got to, or it ain't gonna happen. It's
Yes,
not going to happen. Prayer does change things, but work is really the root of it. You got to put in the work. You got to even if that work is on yourself, you have to put it in, or nothing's gonna happen. You can't just pray and then go back to sleep. You got to pray and get up.
yes,
Do something. Pray for the strength. Pray for whatever it is you need. But even that, people don't understand how to have a relationship with God. And I can have my relationship with God is talking to him like I'm talking to you. Just a conversation. It don't have to be anything other than a conversation. Like I'm talking to my best friend in the whole wide world. I'm talking to the person that I seek advice from. I'm talking to the person who knows everything about me. I'm talking to the person who already knows how my story is going to end. No one else knows that except.
and so some of
I didn't
our
know this
members are
conversation was going to go deep like this.
no, it's
I'm
okay, Mr.
I'm
Terry.
with
The
it.
audience,
I'm here for it.
yes, the audience is saying we need to hear this, and that more black men need to open up. And to my black brothers out here, to our black men, the black woman, we're not your enemy. We don't want to sit behind you. We want to sit beside you. Tell us what's going on. We're not the enemy. We're not here to be against you. Let us know what's going on. We won't know unless you tell us. And that's
That's
the thing.
true.
Black men have been programmed to say, oh, I don't want to look weak. Because you always, even for us as black women, we have been told we have to be the strong black woman, like the
Mhm.
Olivia Pope or the
Right.
Viola Davis's character on How to Get Away with Murder. And I had a conversation about the whole strong black woman narrative for us
Yeah,
as
some
black
black
women
women are so
because
strong that
yeah,
some black women can be so strong, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but they make their black men feel like they don't need them. Okay, no black woman I know have a baby by herself. So they do need the man. And the guys need to be around if they have children with a black woman, be around to take
absolutely.
care of the children that they have. Otherwise, don't have them.
And it's just in the black community, this thing where we have to be so strong, we have to be so resilient. But there are days, and I was watching an interview with Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah said there are days when this pandemic first hit, there are days when I just want to fall apart. I don't want to be happy all the time. There are days when I just, because she lost her mom. And I know that must be difficult for her, the grieving process and everything. It's difficult for anybody who loses their mom or their dad. And she said, I just put on Prince. It was Kelly Clarkson that she did an interview on. She did an interview with Kelly Clarkson. And she said, there are days when I just want to fall apart. And I put on a Prince song and I just, I don't feel like being Superwoman all the time. There are days when I just want to hang up my cape and I just want to, let it all out. I don't want to keep it all pent up inside where it's just like, rah, rah, I can tackle it all. I can handle anything that comes my way. No, you can't. There are days when it's okay to say, okay, I'm not okay today. I don't feel like
Yeah,
it.
that's real talk.
Absolutely. And not only that, Mr. Terry, but your music has done us a service. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience members that are watching this interview, that are in relationships, marriages, that are just loving on their wives and the wives are loving on their husbands, have saved their marriages, have saved all of these things. Like musicians have, how can I say it? They have a musical power. They have a power, and the power is like medicine to our souls. And it's very vital, and it helps not only just relax us, but it heals us.
I'll tell
Definitely
you
thought
that.
I would tell you that.
Thank you. Thank
100%.
you. I wish I could take the credit for it, but have I call it sharing music, and I know that what I have is a gift, and that it really Sweet rain,
All right.
Okay, there you go. I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
Yeah,
We're
we're back. We're
reconnected.
back.
Yes,
We're back.
we're back. Yes, but I was saying that your music has been such an inspiration to so many couples, saving their marriages, doing all of these things. Like musicians have the power, and go back to the point about mental health. The singer that I can think about that has been doing a lot of suffering and pain, and I feel like she's so overrated. She never got her just due because she also suffered from bipolar disorder, depression. That would be Phyllis Hyman.
Oh yeah, I was with Phyllis Hyman 1 week before she passed away. We were together performing in Philadelphia, and we had an awesome time that night. And I worked with her a lot over my career, and I thought I would never have known because she seemed to be in such control. The way she ran her organization, I didn't know that she was suffering, and I was blown away. And yeah, I was blown away when she passed away.
There's so many artists out here who I can name right off the top of my head. Even Prince has opened up about speaking about depression and so many things. You never know what a person is going through unless they really open up to you and they tell their story. And I tell people this all the time. It's nobody else's place to tell somebody else's story, but it's only their place to tell their story and their narrative. They write how they feel.
Right. Exactly. Exactly right.
So I'm going to take some questions from the fans, ladies and gentlemen, then we're going to wrap up with Mr. Terry. This was a sensational conversation, and the audience is agreeing as well, too.
It was great.
Definitely. And I hope this helped a lot of you guys as well. Because it is so vital that we talk about mental health in the Black community, because it's been looked away and shied away for the longest. Like, all of these things that we are sitting here and we're suffering with and we're feeling and we're not wanting to talk to people about. It's okay, but the quick thing we do is we pick up a bottle or we pick up a cigarette or something and we try to numb ourselves to take away the pain, or we medicate ourselves to take away the pain.
Self-medication. Self-medication. In fact, I'm going to self-medicate with a blunt as soon as we're done.
Okay, we have a question. One of the audience members, Cruff08, wants to know, when is new music coming?
It's coming very, very soon. As I said, I do have a current single out called Born to Love You. It and the remix are out. It's a go-go remix. And it's a pretty hot song. And actually, internationally, it has done very, very, very well. And it put me back on the radar here, too, back in America. Because people weren't really, I don't want to say checking for me, but that's probably true until I put out some music that it was like, oh, he back? Oh, okay. All right, well, let's see what he got now. So, now they're checking for me again. So they want to know, radio wants to know what the next thing I'm going to do is. And I'm about to drop another single called Come Back, and we're going to follow that up with an EP. I spent the pandemic, I signed a record deal right as the pandemic was beginning. And that deal I had to walk away from because that deal was the reason that I was having the panic attacks, stress. When I was trying to work out that deal, I had released Born to Love You with one of my partners on his label on a handshake, a simple handshake. We took care of the business. He was somebody I trusted. He went straight to radio, and before I knew it, my record was blowing up all over the place. And this other situation that I was chasing and I was trying to make happen, it was stressing me out. I ended up having to walk away from, even though it was an amazing deal with amazing opportunities. It wasn't worth my life. It wasn't worth the quality of my life, and that's what was happening. So it looks like my phone is about to die. I probably should have charged it up fully.
Oh, okay. I'm going to take two more questions, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to wrap up. The last question, because I did see on your page where you posted that you were going on tour. One of the questions is actually that from the same person. They wants to know, when do you plan to come to the DMV?
Oh, soon. I got a couple of offers to come there, and you know, it just has to make sense. It just has to make sense. I've come there 5 times and played the City Winery in DC, and we've sold out every time. So now that I know, you got the paybo. you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Here's another one from my co-host this week. Shout outs to Posh Beard. He's going to be joining me next. And then 8 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, we have another legendary R&B group in the building. We have High Five, 8 p.m.
Oh, I love them.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
The best of luck today is just like a girl's dream has come true. It's better than diamonds and Mugler. Got to meet Mr. Tony Terry, and then 8 p.m. High Five will be joining me. And my co-host wants to know, I can't see the question all the way, but he says, recommend 5 tips or recommendations to encourage yourself as a black man and as an artist during these times? What 5 tips?
One, let your passion be your guide. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't get it done, especially if you have it. That's 2. 3, be prayerful. 4, keep people around you that really got your back, like for real. Because that's very, very important. Keep people around you that genuinely have your back, that genuinely care about you. Because so many people in this music business really don't. They don't. But this is about what I can get for myself kind of business. And if you don't know, if you lack information, you know, people are not inclined to fill you in about what you don't know, especially if it means that they can make more money off of your ignorance. They're not going to tell you. So 5, consistency. Be consistent.
Always. And remember that was going to be my last final question, but you said your phone is dying, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Terry has a lot to get to, Fashion Dolls. But what was the best advice that someone has ever given you?
A couple of things. One, I've often heard Roberta Flack. I toured with Roberta Flack for many years. She'd say, you know, make sure you write your own checks. I lost a lot of money trusting people, and I would let my accountant write checks on my behalf. But who's watching the accountant? I trusted the accountant because he's an accountant, but who's watching him? And the other thing was, you know, I toured around the world with Roberta, and she has a very, very small voice. First time ever I saw your face, felt the sun. Very, very, very small. And we would play with these huge orchestras, 150 people in the orchestra, huge orchestra. And her voice would still be this small. And she would still rock the house, just standing ovation. So what I got from that was that I don't have to come out singing balls to the wall on key. Song 1. It can be easy. It can live. And it's all about tone and how you connect with the lyrics, how you deliver the story truthfully every time. And it's not all about the tricks and the riffs and the runs, because Roberta Flack doesn't riff or run. And she has very little vibrato. Her tones are straight, in fact, but it's a pure tone. And it just taught me a lot about stage dynamics and performing. Even doing Tony Terry Tuesday for this last year has really allowed me to find my voice, my real voice, that I don't have to, you know, squall. I don't have to sing as hard as I can. I don't have to try to sing, to out-sing the next person. All I have to do is tell the truth in the story that I'm telling. That's all I have to, that's my job, is to deliver the story truthfully, honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it with Mr. Tony Terry. And please be sure to go and check out his tour dates and check out his newest single, Born to Love You. I can't wait. I was hearing the song. I was playing it in my stories while I was announcing the interview, and I love it. I love the new hit single. I love it.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And you're so welcome. And a special thanks also goes to Mr. Terry's wife, Miss Ronnie Terry, the beautiful Miss Ronnie Terry. Thank you so much. It's a dream come true, and I hope this interview opened up people's horizons and bring awareness to all of these causes like mental health disorder and so many things. I want you guys to take something from this, so I hope it helps. But coming up next, we have my very handsome guest co-host for this week with me. The Posh Beard is joining me. So I'm going to do a wardrobe change real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'm going to come back with my co-host. I love you. Y'all take care, and thank you so much, Mr. Terry. It was such an honor and a dream.
It was my pleasure, and it was really a great interview. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much. All right, fashion dolls, take care.